Welcome back to Studio F1 Fast Times Willy B. We will be reviewing Jaws the Revenge. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I've got Rosie with me, and Rosie, we are ready to finish off the Jaws tetralogy with Jaws the Revenge from 1987.
Mm-hmm.
This one, we'll start by saying, completely ignores the third film.
Yes.
So I know I've been calling it a trilogy. I've just been calling that because it's a 4-movie franchise.
Yeah.
But technically, this is the end of a second version of a trilogy, I guess. But nonetheless, we've got Joseph Sargent in the director's chair. Fourth movie, fourth director. Cast-wise, once again, we have some names that are familiar. We got Lorraine Gary back, which obviously she's familiar as playing Ellen Brody from the first two movies and in this one. We've got Michael Caine, who is a very familiar face, especially for Batman fans, Corey. And then we also got Lance Guest, which, you Halloween fans out there, he does play in Halloween 2. I should have looked up his name, but I think it's Jimmy Reynolds, I think his name is, but he's the one that slips in blood and hits his head and gets the concussion / dies. I guess we never really find out. But nonetheless, we'll start with the good with this one. I have a little more to say in the good with this one, which might shock some people because I know to a lot of people this is the worst of the four.
Really?
But this one I have a lot of nostalgia for.
Okay, yeah.
Because 1 and 4 were the two I had on tape as a kid.
Okay.
So that starts, that softens your heart a little bit when watching this one now as an adult.
Definitely.
Now as an adult, I definitely like it a lot less than I did as a kid, but I still do find enjoyment in it. Things I have in the good. I love the opening to this movie.
Okay.
I love, we get the death scene of the youngest son at the beginning of the movie. When I was a kid, that scene terrorized me. Him getting his arm bitten off and he's, just screaming bloody murder and the boat asking for help while Christmas carolers are singing. I just, with the Christmas aspect coupled with it, I just feel like it's more heartbreaking too.
Yeah, because it's
just
around
around the
Christmas
holidays.
time. Yeah.
You saw him just interact with his brother and his mom. They set it up really well to make that opening death really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So it does have emotional weight for me. And then, he gets finished off, obviously, by the shark. And the funeral's sad. And so I really enjoy our first 15 minutes in Amity.
Okay.
With this. I think the attack's good. I think we got a robotic shark back. We got an animatronic shark, so the shark looks good.
Okay.
I don't think the shark looks good as it does in the first two movies because there are something that's as the movie goes on. But in this scene, the shark looks good. The blood looks good. I'm sold he's missing his arm, especially when I was a kid. It's just a good, I hate saying good way, but it is a good way to start this movie. It hooks you.
Yeah,
it
has a great hook.
Mm-hmm.
As a first time watcher, and not hearing such great things about the bottom half of the what is it called?
Tetralogy.
Mm-hmm. That's a tongue twister. I was rather surprised by how much I enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
Now I'll get into a little bit more as we continue talking. But I mean, I don't know. It's weird because I'm not sure what I liked about it, but I liked it.
I think what I like about this film more than the third is taking it away from SeaWorld and putting it back on the ocean. And now most of this movie takes place in the Bahamas.
Yes.
Which, I mean, is obviously cool to see the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And, the clear water and all of that. It's fun, but it feels more like a Jaws movie than the third one because it's back in the ocean.
Back in the open ocean, yeah.
Yeah, so that's something I've always enjoyed more about this movie. And like I said, I enjoyed the concept of the third one. It's a cool idea, bogged down by bad effects, but it's being in the open waters, hunting this shark while it's hunting you.
Yes.
That is what makes Jaws Jaws.
Yeah, 100%.
And so taking it back there gives it some brownie points.
Yeah.
So I always enjoyed that about the movie. I like our cast a lot. I mean, Michael Caine, he's
Mm-hmm.
just trying to woo Miss Brady or Miss Brody, I should say. And I enjoy having Lorraine Gary back too. Just it makes it feel more like a sequel because there is one of the characters back from the original, which
Yeah.
I know in the third one, they're playing Mike Brody. They're playing these characters,
Yeah.
but having one of the actual actors back from the first two films just makes it more connective to me.
Oh yeah.
So I liked having
100%.
Lorraine Gary back. Michael Caine was good. I
Yeah.
really like Lance Guest as Mike Brody.
Yeah, I enjoyed the acting in this one.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
Lance Guest. Growing up, I never knew the Halloween connection, but when I was watching, I was like, man, he looks really familiar, and so I had to look him up, and I was like, oh, it's
Yeah.
from Halloween too, and so just making that connection was cool too. But I really enjoyed him. I enjoy his buddy, Jake. Who
Oh,
always
I
refers
liked
to himself
him.
in the third person. I think he's played by Martin Von Peebles, but I enjoy the characters in this movie.
Me too. I think that's what I liked about it so much is that, I mean, they're a family.
Yeah.
And you can get that. I mean, it's a tragic way that they get closer to each other, the mother and son. But I liked the realness also of the husband and wife connection. Like the real world struggles in there with like the garbage and just like having a child and having friends and having the family and I don't know, it was just you could tell, like, I just think the acting was great.
Yeah.
And they played their roles well.
Yeah. I also like I like that we now have a Brody. I mean, Mike was working on the water at SeaWorld, but he was more on the mechanical side of things. This one, he's doing ocean research, so he's heavily involved on the water.
Yes.
And it just creates that storyline of, like, I don't like the idea of you being on the water, which is very reasonable request
completely understandable
of Mrs. Brody with,
yes.
Losing her husband, not to a heart attack, but
yes.
what he went through in the first two movies
yes.
and then losing a son to a shark attack. Very reasonable request.
I think that would be hard to hear, though, from your mom, because obviously they moved to the Bahamas, I would assume.
And he's so close to having his PhD, too.
Yes, and I would assume they moved to the Bahamas for him to do said job.
Yeah.
So, like, that is, like, a punch in the gut. Like, we just moved all the way to the Bahamas so I can get this job, and now you don't want me to do it. And which is completely understandable, but you can tell that he is like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that, even though I really thought he was gonna.
Yeah.
Being a first-time watcher, I really thought he was going to, just because him and his mom had such a good connection and bond, I really thought he was gonna pull the plug on the job. But I'm glad he didn't, and I liked Jake's character as well, so he was fun.
I like when they go out on the boat and they're doing research. All those scenes are pretty fun. And some comedy in those boat scenes as well. And then one of my last big goods is the banana boat scene. Growing up and watching this movie, I was always like, man, I'm never going on a banana boat. Now, we went on a cruise last year, I guess 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going on the banana boat. So we went on the banana boat. Obviously, I'm still here. Nobody on the boat with me was eaten by a shark. We did get tossed off the banana boat.
Absolutely not.
On a quick turn from our driver. But I got to ride a banana boat for the first time. It was really cool. It didn't end in tragedy, so that's also a plus. But this was just a scene growing up that always stuck out to me. It's still like, there's a lot of cool, shark attacks in the 4 movies. This still stands up for me towards the top. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, because there's definitely some from the first one and the second one that I probably enjoy more. But this one is probably a top 5 shark attack scene for me.
Yeah.
Just the girl sitting in the shark's mouth being taken under while Thea, the daughter's grasping on. You see the blood in the banana boat. It's like deflated. They're all holding on. It's just a really gut-wrenching, scary scene.
Yeah, if I would have seen this movie before we went on the cruise, that would have been a definite hard pass for the banana boat. For the record, I did hard pass the banana boat without seeing this movie.
Yeah.
I was nice and safe on land watching you guys, but as soon as you guys flipped over, I don't remember who I was with, but I was like, thank God I didn't get on that, because I would have probably had a panic attack.
Yeah.
I enjoy the ocean, but I enjoy the ocean where I can control.
Yeah.
When somebody else is driving a boat and I am then not on said boat, that is not going to work for me. So, no, I won't be ever doing a banana boat.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen said movie.
But the banana boat scene is good.
It is good, but it's
Yeah.
I'm glad you got to experience it.
Yeah.
And I know lots of people love it. Because I was like one of the only people to not do the banana boat on vacation.
Yeah.
Good scene. You can feel the emotion in that because like that is tragic. Like this shark is. We'll get to the whole shark situation here in the next
Carla a lot
in the next bit
too. The mom. Yeah, I think she.
You
really
get a lot.
it.
You get the most from her. I feel in that scene because you don't get a lot from her.
Yeah.
In most of the movie, but you can just like that would be.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrifying.
And then I do have one more good. I'm glad they went back to some of the original music. The third one kind of strays away from it, and we get a lot of like almost whimsical music that feels very Indiana Jonesy.
Yeah.
So this one kind of takes you back to the original John Williams. Yeah. Kind of motif.
It gives it more suspense too.
Yeah.
I mean, this one has more suspenseful, intense moments than the third one for sure. So I'm glad they went back to the music because it definitely adds to the vibe, I guess.
Yeah. But that's really it for the good.
Okay.
So you got something else?
I don't even know. I just enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because of the family vibe or I think I haven't seen the first or second one in a while.
Yeah.
And my memory isn't the greatest. But maybe I liked it a lot because I liked it more than the third one.
Yeah.
But let's go to the meh. We'll see what we got in there.
So we'll hop over to the meh. I'd put the love story connection we're getting between Hoagie and Mrs. Brady.
Yeah.
Or Brody. I keep saying Brady. Mrs. Brody.
Yes.
Because elements of it I liked.
Oh, yes.
But then there was like the time where you could tell there was something wrong, and then she starts dancing. I thought he was pushing too hard there for a little bit. Yeah. So there's just like some dialogue things I guess I didn't love.
Yes, I'm glad I'm glad. I felt the same way during that, and I was going to say something, but I felt that I was very critical of the third one. So I was just like, I'm not even going to say anything because I feel like I just keep bashing on all these movies that we watch. But I was, I think if you would have looked at me, I probably had a look on my face like, what? He needs to back off a little bit.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy their little love story, and I think it was just to get her out of the funk of losing her son.
Yeah.
And she even said some sort of quote like, "I got my smile back. Now it's your turn." To her son,
which I think
is a little
3 days is a little quick, but I get it.
Yes, I mean they're older, I guess.
Yeah.
But he seems like a fun guy to be with.
Oh, for sure.
Around,
Hoagie would be a hell of a time in the Bahamas.
I think so too.
I would want to be his friend for sure. My big meh, and it's something we've got to talk about. A lot of people hate on this movie because of the telepathic connection.
Yeah, I was gonna mention
between
that.
Mrs. Brody and the shark.
Yeah.
And the shark having a vengeance. The shark's name is Vengeance in this movie.
Of course it is.
So it's Bruce, you know, we got that. It's Vengeance in this movie.
Yeah.
And
I definitely, that's fitting.
I'm not going to say it's good. This is a really funky idea. It's probably very reasonable for most people to hate this. I don't hate it. I don't think it's good, but I don't put in the bad because I think it's fun. I think it's fun that the tagline for this movie is, "This one's personal." I think it's fun that the shark swam its happy ass all the way down to the Bahamas to terrorize the Brody family. It's unique. It makes the story, you know, nobody wants Jaws 1 and 2 over again because you can't do those over again.
Yeah.
So they did something different. I respect the hell out of them for that. Is it good? No. But I don't think it's horrible. I think it's fun. I enjoy it. Like, it's tacky, but to me it's kind of cool.
I agree with you. The one thing that is my big meh is that every time that Helen looks out into the ocean, I cannot unsee it. But it's like when someone knocks on our door and our dog's ears perk up. Yeah. Like every time she was just like, and like look directly into the ocean. That's my big meh because like she knew it was coming, but there's literally nothing she can do about it.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad because I think a great white shark would be the last thing I would want after my family.
Yeah.
But like in the ocean, that is a hard creature.
Yeah.
To stop.
Yeah.
And her, I don't know. That's my big meh. Is her like.
That's fair.
Her ears perking up in quotes. Every time like the shark is about.
Yeah. My final meh is I'd put Vengeance here, the shark.
Okay.
I like that we went back to animatronics, so I got some good for that.
Yes.
But I think once again they just showed too much. Some of the shark coming out of the water scenes were a little hokey. And then when we see like the full thing of the shark, there's times where you can tell it's a robot.
100%.
So it's in that sense it's not done well, but I'm just glad that it's not computer generated. So I'm gonna throw it in the meh because there is some rough parts to Vengeance the Shark,
100%.
but I respect them going back to the practical route rather than the CG type of route that the third one did, because that really killed the third movie for me. So I think having the animatronic shark just helped this one as far as watching it goes, because like I said in the third one's review, you're there for the shark, and the shark was a lot better, and this one's still not great, but definitely a lot better. So I'm gonna put that in the meh, but that's really it for me in the meh.
Okay, I have one more thing, for the meh.
Yeah.
Every time we see the shark, his mouth is open.
Okay.
I have never come face to face with a great white shark, so I don't know if that is realistic or not. To me, I feel like they did it just to, because teeth, if you look it up, showing teeth means some sort of like power or like that is stronger than the whatever they're after. So I don't know if they were trying to go for like that kind of like idea.
Yeah.
That like, oh, the shark is going to show its teeth because it's trying to get after these people. But every single time you see the shark, his mouth is open.
Yeah.
So it kind of gets old after a while because it's like sometimes you get the same shot of the shark.
Yeah.
So that's just me being a little nitpicky. But I mean, it's not terrible, but I'm not sure how realistic that would be if never been in said situation. So
for sure,
could be. I don't know.
Could be.
I hope to never find out.
Yeah.
If that is true or not.
For sure.
But
so we'll hop over to our bad then.
Okay.
The shark growls again. I'm just gonna start with that quick.
Did it?
Yeah, once.
I missed it.
Quick
When?
Punch it out. It was early.
Okay. I must
it
have
was
missed
also,
it. Dang it.
I mean, part of the early on seeing the shark too is when the shark attacks the boat for the first time in the Bahamas. Blood appears in the water. I don't know if the shark like hurt its mouth biting the boat, or I don't know what that was, but not good.
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
Other things in the bad, unfortunately, the ending. Don't love just the shark all of a sudden combusts because it's stabbed by the bow of the ship, but the original ending in the theatrical cut was that it gets stabbed and it bleeds out.
That
doesn't look good either.
Oh.
Yeah.
That way.
At least that's more realistic.
It makes more sense because the shark, no matter how fast you were driving that boat, boats don't go that fast.
Yeah.
A. B. It's not going to spontaneously combust.
Yeah.
And because it looks like it explodes on TV, in the movie. So I was probably gonna say that, but I just said on the map.
Unless it's like something with the thing they put in its stomach that they're going back and forth with, but I still don't.
That was just like some sort of device.
Magnetic vibration type of thing. Yeah.
No,
so I still don't see that exploding the shark, but
no.
So unfortunately for me, that is in the bad. And then honestly, like the only other bad I have, a lot of this movie falls in the meh for me. There's some good, there's some bad, but it's not a horrible time. But one of the bads for me is when Mrs. Brody keeps having flashbacks of scenes that she was never in, like seeing her husband kill the shark in the first movie, or
her son getting in the
Yeah.
opening scene.
yeah,
I thought the same thing. I was like,
She keeps
she
having these
wasn't even
flashbacks, and
there
I'm
for
like,
that.
you wouldn't have these memories.
Yeah, I agree. I noticed that, and I was like,
Yes, that's the bad for me.
yes, 1,000% agree with that, because I seen that and I was like, she wasn't even there for that.
Yeah.
Like how
Yeah.
something I have in the bad, it is probably again nitpicky, but after the shark explodes, I don't know, is dead, gets stabbed by the boat, they are all in the water. Let's just say that I love that Jake survived, because I loved his character, and I would be absolutely heartbroken for his wife or girlfriend, or I forget her name in the movie, but I would love. They are in the middle of an ocean.
Yeah.
The plane is under the water. The boat is under the water. How did they get back to land?
Well, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would. Yes.
They sent a search crew out.
I am sure. But I guess he did talk to the people on the radio.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't put that in the bad. I think that's a very easy fix.
Okay, yeah. I apologize. Let's take that back. I forgot. I forgot he mentioned something on the radio before he crashed the boat into the water.
The plane, you mean? Yeah.
The boat. Yes, the plane. Yeah, let's take that back. I forgot he did that. But if he wouldn't have done that, that would have been in the bad.
Yeah.
But yes. Scratch that.
I don't have anything else in the bad. Like I said, a lot of it's in the meh for me, but
yeah.
anything that I gripe with.
I mean, I could probably add a few more nitpicky things, but overall, I didn't think it was terrible.
For sure.
I would probably rewatch this one again over the third one.
Yeah.
I will forget the third one exists.
Well, they do in this one, but
that's true. That's true. But like, if we ever watch it again, we can just go 1, 2, 4.
Yeah. So we'll hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with Jaws: The Revenge, and what do you give it out of 10?
I'm glad. I feel like I enjoyed it more than the average person. Which isn't bad, because everyone has their own opinion.
Yeah.
And I like the idea. Don't love the telepathic connection that's going on with the family and the shark, and I don't love that, but I like the overall idea of the movie. I'm gonna give this one a little bit higher than the third one, and we're gonna stick it at a 7.
Okay. So you're giving it in the good range.
I am.
I still don't think by any means this is a good movie. I just definitely have more nostalgia for it. If you can look past the telepathy part and just have fun with it, you'll enjoy this one more.
Definitely.
But it's still a pretty middle-of-the-road movie. There is some bad to it, unfortunately. And it's a little choppy at times, I'll say that too. But there's some fun scenes in this one, and it at least feels more like a Jaws movie than Jaws 3.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go 5 out of the 10.
Okay.
5 out of the 10. 5 out of 10. For me, it's never a movie I understood how much hate it gets, but it's also a movie I understand why nobody raves about.
Yeah.
But I still have a good enough time with it to say, like, it does have some replay value. It's just one of those movies you're not going to rewatch for a good movie. You're going to rewatch it for some dumb fun.
Yeah.
You're going to rewatch it for a shark movie that does it better than a lot of other shark movies we've got.
Yeah.
It. So
for sure.
Yeah, not by any means a horrible movie in my opinion, and I know some people feel that way, but hey, if you haven't watched it yet, go in with an open mind, have fun with it. It's this one's personal, so just team up with who you think you want to win, the shark or the Brody family. So have fun with the banana boat. That'll do it for Jaws: The Revenge. Rosie, thank you for stepping in to do these last two.
You are so welcome.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. As always, we appreciate it all. 1976 will be coming your way, and you guys will get to pick the movie there. Again, we appreciate you for everything. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.
Peace and love.